Hello everybody. Today I wanted to share some thoughts and unboxing of these Bates 1-inch foam paintbrushes. So I got these because every once in a while I have some like little paint projects and I don't really want to dump paint down the drain or figure out cleanup. So for like small touch-ups here and there, if you're trying to fill small holes or paint a really small area, these paintbrushes work really well. So the paintbrushes are like fairly disposable. For the 26 of them, they're really affordable, so they're pretty good for single use. They also, I think, have been pretty useful as like paint stirrers. So when you open the can and you don't have any paint sticks, or like maybe shaking isn't an option, sometimes I'll use the back of a used one as a paint stir. The other thing is if you only dip like half the brush, because it's fairly long, so if you only dip half the brush in paint, sometimes I actually cut half the paintbrush and get two uses out of this. So for the mixing, two uses out of the foam part, you get kind of like a multi-purpose type of situation. The construction of the brush itself is like, is what you can expect for, a disposable brush. The foam sits on this plastic piece here that makes it somewhat flexible, and it doesn't come off easily. So I actually had like a wider brush and I was dipping into the paint can and trying to get some of the paint off, and the foam actually separated from this, but it didn't happen with this one. It was a different brand. So if you kind of tug on this a little bit, it won't move. So I think the foam itself is it's stuck to the actual plastic bit pretty well. And then same thing with the dowel, the wooden part here. It doesn't really come off easily. So everything's fairly tight, but again, it's more or less a disposable brush, so you're gonna get what you're gonna get. You do get 26 of them. Oh, some fell. You get 26 of them. So if you don't keep them in this original box, in this nice organized grid pattern like it has, you might want to put them in something else. But otherwise, yeah, they're fairly good. What can you expect from, disposable paintbrushes? You might be able to use this for other things, but like I said, paint is my primary use for small touch-ups. The other thing to know is when you're painting, if you have any type of like texture, or like if the actual like brush stroke matters in the finish that you want, this is only going to really do what it's going to do. It's foam, so it's not going to leave any type of like brush marks. But be careful when you're applying the coats of paint to make sure you smooth things out so you don't have any lines. That's one thing to know too. Because the actual surface area of the brush is small, you can go through and kind of do a grid pattern of lines to make sure it's smoothed out. But yeah, anyway, hope this was helpful. Thanks.